Guys, so Pirate Software's code has been exposed, all right, by Coding Jesus. I did watch a small segment of this, and I watched Quinn Theo's video on it. Okay, I started fucking around in GameMaker Studio today just to see if I could change like some of the alarms. I think the alarm like the alarms came up as far as like changing the data types on them, or like making them more code friendly for like teammates to see. And then I was like, if anyone's working in GameMaker Studio, they're gonna know what an alarm is, so you don't need to. And then I was like, kind of going through here, and I don't know. We're gonna watch. I need to refresh on it because I could be totally fucking wrong. I could be a complete dum on this. All right. And I want to say this is my shield. I am not an excellent coder. All right. I am like mediocre at best, but I want to dive into this. I used to work in GameMaker Studio. In fact, my first game that I ever made was in GameMaker Studio, called Drop and Dodge, right here. This was the first game I made in GameMaker Studio. Super simple, super stupid. Not really that technical as far as like gameplay goes. It's literally you just drop down this area and just dodge shit. Drop and dodge, right? So this is in GameMaker Studio, and this was the first game I made. But we're gonna dive into this code and see what's up. Also have Pirate Software's response. I'm gonna be going through that response, and I have the your intro got me first Archer, then Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, Archer one would be pretty sick. I know my wife would love to do that one. She loves Archer. So that might be coming up next. I was thinking about doing like a Dan to Dan one. I would like to do that because they did kind of like the same deal. But I got Coding Jesus's like response to Pirate Software's response. All right. God damn it, the Inception. And then Quinn Theo's like video. Now, like I said, I pre-watched a little bit of this stuff, and then I was obviously watching like the I watched the Quinn Theo stuff on Coding Jesus, but I skipped ahead. Here's the background: why Pirate Software, who am I, and then finding relevant dev streams. So I skipped ahead to the magic numbers and poor readability. So I'm going to make some comments on this. Again, I could be wrong, but there's some things that because like I said, I worked in GameMaker Studio. I'm gonna bring up the manual too, so we can like go through it together. And if any of my coders are in here, maybe you can correct me, because maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe he's not wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But we'll go ahead and get started into it.
I recommend people actually download these VODs before he takes them down, because honestly, if I was claiming I'm a game developer with 20 years of experience, this would be embarrassing to have online. Let's take a look at what's really wrong about this, and I don't even need to be a game dev to understand that. When you look at the code here, what do you see? You see a lot of magic numbers. That's an industry term for numbers that don't...
Part type life. All right, part type life. Let's see real quick. I'm gonna go to the create function. I want to see part type emitter, Let me see part type life. Life. Okay. Part type life takes a... What the fuck does it take? Identification. So it takes an ID. It takes a life min, which is an int, and then a life max, which is another int, undefined. I don't like but Pirate Thor, but the function overloading is written like that. but his boolean is correct. Index, yeah. Index is int. Oh, index. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. I'm not sped on, like I said, I'm not super sped on GMS shit. So, I didn't really like working in it whenever I was in there. The only thing I liked in here was the sprite editor, because you could animate sprites while it was playing, so you could get like some cool particle effects just by drawing. Coding Jesus Boolean, not pirate. Okay. All right. So part type life. This is the function that governs how long each individual particle of the indicated type remains on the screen. Now let's go to the help. I'm just curious on what it actually is. So part type life. Okay, part type life. The index of the particle type to change, the minimum lifespan of particles, and the maximum lifespan of particles. So this is the function that, yeah, okay, we read that. This is how you write it. And okay, and then the above code will set all particles created of the particle type indexed in the variable part flare to have a lifetime between 1 and 2 seconds based on the current game speed. Enkido Gom, that's a name. Average Guido player. Yeah, Coding Jesus sucks too. They are very similar. Coding Jesus is clearly jealous of Dor. I have no clue. I haven't seen any of his content other than when Quinthio brought him up on. Again, I don't know, but we'll see. You know. Okay, the above code will set all particles created of the particle type indexed in the variable part flare to have a lifetime between 1 and 2 seconds based on the current game speed. Okay. So var game speed, get game speed, game FPS, part life, part flare, game speed times 2. Okay. Will someone catch me up on the beef? It's not too, like, not really beef. It's just, I mean, I guess it is. It's, so Coding Jesus. Oh, you got it. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. James Milk Elroy. Thanks, man. All right. So we're going to go through here and see what's up. So here, I don't know what this effect drop is. That is not, oh, okay, that's for part type sprite. So part type sprite is another thing. Where's the part type life? Right here. The effect drop. So that's the effect that is dropping, and then 15:15. So it will spawn between 15 and 15 seconds. Give me a second. I gotta get my kids to sleep. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, man. They're in there screaming and jumping on their bed, so I had to get them the fucking stone cold stunner. Bam! Whoosh! No, I'm just kidding. All right, I think Coding Jesus had some pretty valid points. Magic numbers are bad practice, period. Even assembly language lets you have constants with human readable names. I agree. I think magic numbers are bad, and I am guilty of using them too. I will not shy away from saying that I am a shit programmer, guys. But okay, Pirate was wrong about the Boolean and alarms, but I'm sure you will look up if for loop will work on the alarms. I have no clue. I'm sure I think we can go through it. I'm pretty sure the for loop will work on the alarms. I have GameMaker Studio up now, so it's definitely something we can do once we reach that point. Okay, guys. Where the fuck am I? Okay. As a programmer, when I first saw that people were riffing on his code, I thought perhaps people have gone too far. However, yes, everything about Coding Jesus said was 100% true. Wow, big number 9. Oh shit. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome. Alan Richardson, what's up? Go Tanks and all. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, I don't disagree with him. You know, there's just some things. You know, he's right about coding practices. He's very, very right about coding practices, and all that jazz. But we'll see. He doesn't know GameMaker Studio. I would say Thor knows more about GameMaker Studio than Coding Jesus. At this point, Coding Jesus could go and learn it within a night. I'm fucking most likely. Probably. All right, we'll see.
Any description or explanation as to what they are or why they exist?
Okay, this is a function particular to GameMaker Studio. You could hover over this and actually see what it does. It'll give an explanation of what this does. If you're savvy with it, it'll do it. And he has a comment here saying falling particle. So effect type sprite. I don't know what any of that shit does. But like I said, we could look it up and it would say, you could hover over it and it would say at 15:15. This is literally 15 frames. This is 15 frames at game speed. So, fuck, I don't know what that is. What is that in a quarter of a second? So a quarter of a second? Is that right? 15, 15, 30, 15. Yeah. So a quarter of a second. That's what that is. Okay.
And you also have a lot of true or false, which is not descriptive at all.
Where's true or false? Oh, yeah, okay, over here.
When you look at any function call as another...
This is fine. Passing in false, false, true. I feel like this is okay. Part type sprite. Let's see what part type sprite says. Okay. Again, like addressing the manual, part type sprite. I think it's okay to pass in like true and false. Especially if you could right click on the function to see what it does. The video is very quiet. Barely hear it. All right, give me a second, guys. I turned it up. Storyline array is crime against readability. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. No, you learn C# or C++, use Unreal, and then C++ if it's... C++ is much used blueprints. I didn't like blueprints too much. But I use C# all the fucking time for my job and shit. Alright. Part type life. No, I want part type sprite. Okay. So, in GameMaker Studio, you could type this out. Right? And this is just a function that you could use in here. This would be similar to like doing a update function, whatever. So it tells you what it needs, and it says this function can be used to set a particle type to use a custom sprite from the game assets. It says you need an index, sprite, the animation, animate whether to follow that sprite's animation normally true or not false. Okay, so the first true or false is to animate. The second, whether to stretch the sprite's animation to match the particle lifespan, true or false, and then random, choose whether a random sub-image, true or false. Okay, I don't think you would need to, set like play animation and like have that be named as a bool. Now, if you wanted to, like have that as true or false, right? Because this could change at any, like, say you wanted, say you didn't want the animation to play, or you did want to stretch it, right? You could use a comment, but again, if you're working in GameMaker Studio, like you're supposed to be familiar with these in-house functions and use them properly. Unless it's a specific method, then I'll try to give it a variable. Yeah. Okay. I'm a Python job guy right now. Maybe why I like GDScript. Okay. See how much you haven't read? This would be handled much easier if you used name variables. I'm gonna name a true or false. Is that what we want to do? Is like name a true or false? Yes? Okay. Like what would be the name then? Again, I could be stupid with this. I would just like, for me, I would just hover over it and be like, okay, what does it take? What's the arguments? And the argument's like, you know, stretch animation. Then you can use that variable later to more dynamically change the settings. But you can't use, like, I don't think it would matter, though. I don't think it would matter. Coding Jesus was clearly correct. Or doesn't know how to use for loops. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying maybe he just doesn't know GMS to the extent of Thor. But then again, I don't either. I've made very simple shit. I don't see why I would. I mean, I guess so. So you could make a bool like can't stretch, right? You can make a bool called can't stretch and set it to false. Okay, and then we could set can't stretch in here. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So we could set can't stretch here, and then like later on we can be not that, sorry, can't stretch, and then we could be like, do we want it to stretch? No. So, I mean, then we would call it where. Like, where exactly did I just do can't stretch equals true? Like, before I call this? Or, you know, for every particle, do I have to call this can't stretch? Ideally, you would want to expose, like... It is property settings, find out constants. Yeah. Alright, we'll get back into the video. Hold on. I feel like this being a built-in function makes it okay. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I would just, if I wanted to know what I needed to pass in, I would just hover over it and just pass in what I wanted, right? Now, if can't stretch changed over time, or like I needed to change it, or it was used somewhere else, maybe, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Alright, we'll get back to it. Hold on. I'm more concerned about the alarm thing. I really want to test out the alarm thing. Because I was in here earlier testing some stuff out. And, yeah, it was all wacky.
You should...
Nick just started watching the same thing. How y'all doing? Doing good, doing good. Imagine testing that code, going to look for each number. True. But, wait, which number? Each one of these? Again, each one of these, like, have a, if you hover over it, it'll say what the number's value is. That's what I'm getting at. But I can see, like, yeah, the magic number thing is kind of scuffed. Also, we'll get into it. We'll get into it
without needing to read through the implementation of the actual method itself. So, part type sprite, part type size. I don't need to read through that to understand what's being passed to it.
Easy to change with these
and
variables,
what it's doing. But that's not what's going on here. I shouldn't need to ask myself, what is this number 1? What is the 0? What does it signify?
But you don't have to. You can just hover over it. Right? You don't have to ask. You just hover over it and it tells you. That's what I'm saying.
Right? Imagine we have
He's saying you shouldn't have to hover. I guess.
A car object. And I create the car object.
Trust me, guys. This is the last person I want to be fucking sweeping for. Okay? I'm not fucking sweeping for this prick. All right? I'm trying to, you know, understand the thought process that he's going through, and then the thought process that he's going through. Again, I am shit when it comes to this stuff. I make shit work sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't.
96 for false false. Do you have any idea about what those numbers mean?
I see talking 0 and 1 could be confused as a bool. Yeah. It does add more friction if you have to go look through the ISP pop-ups for each method. You're really relying on IDE at that point, and it's more than just what is it you're passing, but rather what's the purpose of one.
How am I initializing that car? You don't. A step
part type size 1.
Above that, a better alternative would be to specify in words what.
Okay, int main. Yeah. And then just pass those in. Constable is automatic, false is electric, yeah.
96 means, for example, unsigned 32-bit integer horsepower equals 96. Number of doors equals 4.
Or what's the purpose of 15 and why you're
false.
using 15?
Is electric
Okay.
equals false. And then pass that into the construction of car. That is the bare minimum. That's what I would expect out of an in.
Oh, okay. All right. So part type life. All right. Oh, shit. Pixel, thanks for the one, dude. Do appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So, okay. So it's coming together. All right. So part type life, instead of saying 15, which would be a quarter of a second, we can declare that variable and be like, have it there as a constant and say, hey, well, we can rename it to quarter second. Just name it quarter second, right? And then like have it like if you need a full second, just say full second. I think it did something similar here. Yeah. So like I was in here and I was fucking around. So like here's GML. So this was me fucking around with the alarms. The create is kind of like the start method in Unity, and then step is like the update method. The alarm ticks down every step or every frame, okay? And these are just like button presses. I was kind of messing around with because I was having trouble with some of the alarm stuff because I made my own. I was like fucking around and trying to set names for alarms. Instead of saying like alarm 0, alarm 1, alarm 2, like actually giving names to it. And you can to an extent. Actually, no. No, you straight up can. You straight up can. I think I was confusing myself with alarm 0 or alarm equals 0. So he was going through alarm equals 0, and then I was looking up, and alarm equals 0 still plays the alarm. It doesn't stop it. Alarm -1 stops the alarm or disables it. Alarm 0 says that it'll play the next frame. But yeah, I'll get back into it. So this way you can create functions and actually like say this is this alarm does this thing, right? And you can pass in the index and the type. And the type you can set the you can do a switch statement and say, hey, this alarm is for 1 second, okay? And then it'll pass in the instance, which is the object that I'm using, right? And then it'll say the index. So what alarm are you using? You can pass in 0, and then you can say, okay, play it for 60 sec or play it for 1 second or 60 frames. And then this one would be like, okay, play it for 5 seconds. Some of you might not even like this shit, right? I didn't put one in. Yo, look, hey, don't kill me, bro. I have no default. I was just doing this shit. All right. Fucking around. All right. So here, like if I were to press E, oh, not this one. Let's do these short. Okay. So here, if I was to press E, I can say set named alarm, and it'll go to that function. It'll pass in, okay, it's a short alarm, so 1 second. And then it's the index is alarm 0. So would this be wrong to you as well, Mean? Like passing in this 0, would that be wrong for you as well? Like even if I were to hover over this and I have not talked about the huge array yet, no. Like if I were to hover over this and be like, okay, my index is any, type any, I could put a comment here, but like even Coding Jesus is like you don't need to use comments if your code's written well. So set alarm index would be that. Yes, it technically be wrong. You should have a constant with a name that describes what the alarm is. Well, the alarm, that's just the index of an alarm. That's just the index of an alarm. So I would have to make an index for, or I have to make a variable for each index of an alarm, like alarm 1, and like, I'm such a bad coder, dude, because I'm lazy as fuck. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, dude. I would want the code itself to be describing. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, maybe I just got bad habits too, dude. I am 100%. I have a little bit of background. Like they taught a little bit at my my game design school, but I am fucking. I just got here and already and bruh. I don't know, man. All right, let's get back in it. Wouldn't you make a variable in the for loop and that goes where your 0 was, or I'm not understanding? We're not there yet. Hold on. So you know little entitled at that? I have my degree in computer science, and this is what you learn, and also why it doesn't matter what language you're using. All of these concepts carry over. I agree. Yes, all the concepts carry over. You could be good in fucking C++ and pick up C, no problem. C sharp, fucking Python. It's all the same shit. It's just written differently, different syntax.
Intern that's fresh out of school. Taking that a step further, you can implement a concept called strong typing, which is the most expressive form of instantiation. What we can do in that case is define an alias at the bare minimum or a class, and we can call it horsepower. And then we can create an enumeration for things like transmission or fuel. And then we'd alter the car's constructor and pass in that information. Horsepower 98, door number 4, transmission automatic, fuel gasoline. You don't need to be a game developer to know that that's a lot more maintainable than whatever Thor has here. Another really good example of that is at 2556. So if we jump there, okay, right here. Alarm 0, alarm 1, alarm 2. What is...
I agree. I think if Pirate Software just said, yeah, I'm not great, but I know it works and can keep track of it for my purposes, he'd at least make it clear he's not posturing as an expert. I agree. I feel like this guy... like he's got to be the guy, man. He's got to be the guy to know everything. It's okay to fucking keep learning and learn from other people. It's okay to not know fucking everything, dude. I don't know, but he's not getting rid of the SKG stuff. No, definitely not.
Is that? What are those alarms? Is it an alarm for person A, an alarm for whatever character? An alarm to do what? It's unexpressive. It's
okay.
Really.
So this stop moving tiles. Tile offset step equals 0. Okay. Stop making objects. Alarm 0. Oh, so look over here. He has comments. He has comments for them over here. If you look right here, this is what's kind of commenting, saying what the alarm is. So alarm 0 is start talking. Alarm 1 is fade out. Alarm 2 is cut wind sound. Alarm 3 is start stroll music. Alarm 4 inject talkie, and alarm 5 set up disintegration. Doing this though, like you don't have to do this. He is 100% right. Like, this is just like, eh. Like, there's a better way to do this, and it's a for loop. And I don't know, can you store? You should be able to. I don't think, so I'm like thinking with C# brain right now. Does GMS have lists? But you could store these array in an array, right? You can do that. For var I equals 0, yeah. It's for an iterator on range. Yeah, technically alarms are array. Yeah. There's 12 of them. Evidently has DS lists. What's DS? Drill sergeant? Drill instructor? It's there, can't recall on bust. As for his over commenting, that's meant to bully. that, yeah, it's bad. So what personal preference? It's his own engine. Bro, you drunk?
Spaghetti code, in
I can't read that. Are you an AI?
my opinion.
I can't read that.
Okay. Let's go to around 1 hour and 4
Guess
minutes.
73. Alarm start talking equals 0. Alarm start talking equals... Yeah.
This is also a complete mess for a couple of reasons. First of all, Thor is using the incorrect data types. This isn't even getting to some sort of advanced design.
Alright, what
design
data
pattern.
type?
It's showing a complete lack of understanding how to represent information in a program. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, look at question asked equals 0. Question asked, in my opinion, is true or false.
Yes.
Has this question been asked? It should be a Boolean data type. What does 0 mean? Booleans are represented as integers under the hood. So in C++, anything that isn't 0 is true. So 1 is true. But why would you even give another developer the option to write question asked equals 42?
True.
In theory, that should be true.
Yep.
Because anything other than 0 is true. But why even allow somebody to write code that can potentially be that confusing? It's just a no-go. Another thing here that I noticed is the absurd amount of comments. Most of the time, you don't need to write comments in your code. That's because your code should be self-documenting.
That's true too. You should have descriptive functions. You should have descriptive variables, all that shit. The only time I would write a comment is if, like, let's say I wrote like an extensive function that like I need to explain kind of what's going on there, right? I would write the comment above the function that I'm making, you know, as a reference or something for somebody else or for me. Like this function auto imports fucking blueprint pieces and assembles them in 3D space, something like that. I don't know. I think coding Jesus, at least in part, comes at this from a position of compassion by getting into tech debt. I saw that too. I like that word, which is almost certainly hamstringing whatever limited work is being done. Yes, I agree with that. I do think that Pirate Software did write himself into a corner. I do think he did write himself into a corner. I've seen AI write less comments. You should write what you need for the auto documentation, nothing more. Yeah.
But there is a 1 to 5% case rate in which you should be writing comments only if your code is extremely complex. And that's not the case here. This is a simple if statement and a simple switch statement. You don't need to add comments here.
What? Wait, hold up. What does this say? If question equals true and question asked equals 0. Okay, all right. I fucking missed. All right.
Or we have asked the question and question asks equals 1 is totally superfluous, a waste of time, a waste of space. I'm not sure why it was added. If not just to waste time on a dev stream, to spend more time.
We have asked the question. Yeah, that's a stupid comment. Like literally true or false here. Oh, I thought Emma walked in.
Why?
Because you started fucking singing. Excuse me. Sorry. As a person with 0 coding experience, I can confidently say Pirate's coding is dog shit because I don't like him. It's fair. All right. He's setting the question asked in the wrong space too, because you're updating status before you're doing your next part. You should update status variables at the very end.
Okay. Let's take a look at his second stream, because the rest of this stream is reviewing other games, looking.
Oh yeah. Thank you. At the very end of that if statement, right?
At his subscription count.
Who
I don't know
cares?
why he gets so horny looking at this. Watching.
I've lost 10,000 subscribers every day for the past 30 days, guys. Lock in, bro. Start making them fake accounts.
video games, etc. You guys get the point. Storyline array number. Oh my god.
419. Storyline array number, 419. Okay.
Here
Brother.
he appears to be storing a timeline of events in a flat one-dimensional array
No.
with random numbers as the indices in
No.
order to represent said event.
No.
So literally anything
No.
would be an upgrade over what is written here. For example, what he could have done is created a nested structure where all of those default values, instead of being hard-coded and written in some file, can simply be stored in a YAML or configuration file that can be edited outside of the build as to not waste time rebuilding the entire application in a YAML or XML format. That's Development 101. You learn it in the first week of your new job as either an intern or a junior developer. What's even worse is he now also needs to remember what 419 means.
Right.
So somewhere in his code, he needs...
So for this, like if you're doing, this is all text, right? That's all this is. It's just like storyline text that's popping up. Bro, is it still fucking, bro, it blows my fucking eardrums out. All right, man, I already got fucking tinnitus. I'll turn it up. All right, the storyline array, is that the text that pops up in like the box? Is that what that is? It's the dialogue. That's all dialogue. Coding Jesus, just study a lot of thick C++. This section has a decent reason to be a flat array, but not the way that he did it. Flat integer array is easier to open in a memory editor to manipulate for a person that is brand to hacking. I think just making a JSON or a text file to do that, right? Like make a dictionary to have an ID and value, right? Brand new to hacking, okay. And then just have a JSON that you can manipulate. That's what I'm doing for YAML, like CJ said. I don't know YAML, so I know XAML. I really don't understand why you wouldn't change the number to be assigned to descriptive text. It's literally one extra step. You don't need an array. Okay. Pirate gave a really weird excuse for doing it this way. He said something about it being for ARG. Yeah, okay, I remember seeing that. I do remember seeing that. YAML is like JSON, just another data structure. Okay. Okay. Maybe we're gonna see him do the Summit Smash very soon. Not yet. Not yet. Almost. All right. Enum, but iterator using vector, is that where he was going, or map stack, whatever equivalent is into this engine? I have no clue. I don't know. Enum, but iterator. Let me turn that off. Hold on, guys. Fuck, I can't. Okay, sorry about that. The badoops. This seems to be like a P-lame ARG thing, and also you're giving the answer away for free in your stream, I feel. No storyline is state progression on the game. Bipedal, what's up, man? How you doing?
a comment or something to represent what a 419 is. As you can see here, I found the file that contains all these events, which are the...
Oh, dude. Oh, dude.
Association between a magic number and some state. It's very obvious that this can get very unwieldy extremely quickly. As you can see here, he has some number associated with 0, 1, or even 2, and then he needs to detail in a comment what that means. Now, imagine a developer accidentally puts 2 here or 3. Finding, tracking, and solving that bug is really going to be a development nightmare. What if you forget to type 3 here and it
This is kind of like Yandere Dev. I saw a little bit of Yandere Dev's code. He's got a lot of this shit, like the if else statements. Granted, dude. Okay, so I have a review of Yandere Sim coming. I'm doing like it's for ARG guys. No, I don't give a fuck if it's for ARG. You finish the first game first, and then do your ARG. ARG needle in a haystack. Yeah.
Accidentally
That's
type
nutty.
2 and start associating coffee cold knowledge with floor 2 coffee age.
Amidoki, what's up?
Or even worse, in your code somewhere, instead of typing 2
I'm gonna
and
have
3,
fucked
you
up
type
4
2 and
options.
4,
That's crazy.
And now need to go back and track why your game is misbehaving. This is extremely poor practice and can get very messy very quickly.
Yeah, so for shit like this, you definitely want like a separate file that you can change values to and stuff, but also have like an identifier. Like for me, I just learned how to do this in for Chud Logic's Gockbound, and I have a loader that loads in that information from JSON, and then I can just pull the IDs from it, and then it'll display the text, right? And that's all you need is just the ID for it. Two gigabytes of game and 500 MB reference sheet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but both Toby Fox and Yandev at least bothered to make a separate file for a thing like this. No, all of Toby Fox's shit was in a big if else statement. All of his stuff is in an if else statement for Undertale. Maybe not for Deltarune. I don't know. Coding Jesus is right. He shouldn't be so mean to a new coder, but Pirate believes himself to be better. Of course he does, dude. I'm not a therapist, but dude's obviously got some narcissistic tendencies, right? I don't think I need to be a therapist to know that. This entire game was an if statement, yeah. He did finish the game. I'm not saying Undertale's bad. I never played it. My wife played it. I like the music. Megalovania fucking slaps, dude. Alright? I learned that on guitar. Chud understood Code Jesus' explanation in one stream compared to Pirate's 20-year of coding experience, whatever that meant. Chud's lying.
Not only that, but this is going to significantly decrease the velocity of your development, because you're going to need to jump between the storyline vars file, find the event you want to reference somewhere else in code, and go back to that line that you'd like to reference the event in. So you're going to constantly need to be jumping between files, forgetting, potentially mistyping, and it's just a recipe for disaster. When it comes to the nested structure, though, tell me what you think is better. What Thor has here, or what I have on screen, which in my opinion is much more expressive.
I missed it.
Here, the nested structure, though, tell me what you think is better. What Thor has here,
This is Thor's? Or is this his?
or what I have on screen, which in my opinion is much more expressive.
Nested. Global story equals, okay. Shop cashier, angry, false. Spoke to. Counter has money, false. Global story, shop cashier is angry. Do something. Still not ideal, but at least you understand what's going on. Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah. I don't know what this is, though. He's writing this in C++. Oh, is that the switch? Okay, that's the switch. Okay. Okay, alright, I got it. That's the switch, and then this is the case.
Now, this goes beyond simply liking code better. What I have on screen is objectively better because it makes it harder for you and others to make mistakes.
It's a dictionary.
And it's
okay.
a lot clearer
AI currently
as to
drops
what's
off a cliff
going
and
on.
quality code.
I don't even need to know how this game is designed to understand that whatever he's doing here is not optimal. I also don't need to recommend the most optimal data structure, because literally anything would be better than this. Another thing that's really, really weird is that he's using these numbers to represent people, and now
that's
everywhere
fucked. Yeah,
he writes
I saw
the
this.
number 1, and when it represents a person, he needs to remember that it's Shelly, which is presumably a game character. Imagine removing all these comments. Would you, as a newly added game developer to his game project, have any idea that one is Shelly?
Nope.
You would have no idea. This would never ever be allowed in a production repository, and I've been hinting,
Sure
it's
wouldn't.
below what you'd
Use
expect
enum.
of a bottom tier intern. One way to improve this.
Hey, look, enum. Yeah, let's go. All right, private parts. This suggestion is where I have a slight disagreement. If Pirate Software's goal was to allow memory editors to easily change this to low skill players, a proper data struct would be harder. You're tossing a lot of big words at me, bro. All right, this suggestion is where I have a slight disagreement. If Pirate Software's goal was to allow memory editors to easily change this to low skill players, a proper data struct will be harder. Break it down Barney style, dude. I'm sorry. Like production environments don't have shitcode as well. They do. They do. I'm guessing Pirate Software only ran scripts he was given when he did security or did social engineering and nothing technical. Possibly. All self-taught. Most likely self-taught. He didn't go to school for it for sure. I don't think Pirate Software doesn't have industry experience, but it's certainly easy to incorrectly paint him as an expert with all the negative space he leaves with his confident statements. True. I'm getting character limited, sorry. Derek, I think I have you on, we talked before. I got you on Discord, man. If you want to talk to me later, you can. Cosplaying as a dev.
Is to write case and then switch on an enumeration. So case character Shelly. That is way, way better to whatever he has here. Another example is at 159.
We need someone who understands the GameMaker API for a fair analysis. For example, a quick Google of GameMaker alarms for loop, and it doesn't seem like that's something you do in GameMaker. GameMaker alarms for loops.
More magic numbers, 32. What does message 32 mean? What does message 65 mean? What does message 97 mean? And what are these dialogue options 2, 5, 6, 0? This is a culmination of my past couple of comments, all in one steaming pile of...
Is there a way to grab this project and like decompile it so I can like look at it myself? Is that a thing that can be done? Can I grab, like I've seen people do it. I have GameMaker Studio downloaded. Do I need can I reverse engineer the game? Yes, decompilers are to machine code though. Oh fuck. All right, well I ain't that smart. I definitely ain't that fucking smart. Guys, I know how to duct tape shit together, okay? Like Coding Jesus is definitely way more talented than I am at coding. I wanted to look at this. I wanted to look at this because there were some things I didn't quite get, and then some things that didn't sound right. So that's a screenshot. All right, let's. All right, Pirate Software responds to Code Jesus video dissecting Heartbound's code. I worked in software dev for 2 years, and yeah, it's pretty spot on. Okay. It's really not. It seems like people don't use for loops for alarms in GameMaker. I decay what alarms are in GameMaker, but it doesn't seem like defining alarms in a for loop is common practice. Compiling to a language loses all variable and function names. Oh, decompiling. Coding is magic. Anyway, honestly, as long as it works, dare sneeze. Yeah, that's fair.
Guy who's never used GameMaker Studio,
right,
doesn't know GameMaker language, and talked a lot of shit but was wrong. Pretty funny. You should look at my comment underneath this video. Imagine screaming and shitting about alarms in GameMaker saying, why aren't these renamed, when you literally can't rename them.
Oh my god, I'm Pirate Software and I'm
Just another, like, YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is.
Riding my coattails.
All too common these days. Think you saw that one? Very strange. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. You could still use alarms by for loop instead of manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines. Those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting...
It doesn't end the alarm. Okay, Pirate Software is wrong there. I'm pretty sure setting to 0 still plays the alarm, but it does not. Start talking with your mouth an inch away from mic. Pirate Software is wrong. Okay. He misunderstood the question there. YouTube grifter, I love his put downs. They're so completely wrong. Okay, so for alarms being set to 0, okay? Technically, alarms being set to -1 stops the alarm. 0 should trigger it. It triggers on that same frame, or the next frame, sorry. It triggers on the next frame. And I believe, what's up?
Stick this in.
Yummy. Oh my god. That's hot. Oh my god. You're killing me, Worm. Now to talk like this.
It's too hot. Oh, I see it steaming now.
Yeah, you see it steaming now, you fucking trying to kill me.
I put a bite in my mouth and I want a pussy. Oh. Hey, you're streaming.
Get back in the kitchen. All right. So disabling the alarm. Oh no, I have that there. All right, disabling the alarm. You set it to -1, and triggering the alarm would be 0. But I tested it. I even I ChatGPT'd it, and I was arguing with ChatGPT because I was like, "Motherfucker, it's not working." This does not. It hits. So it hits the breakpoint. It hits the breakpoint, but it doesn't trigger it. Okay. Setting it to 1 will. So I'm assuming that 1 is 2 frames. Because watch. Okay. I have it set to spawn. I have it set to spawn a mana gem. Okay. When I press D, it will. Let me see what I got. I hate this shit. I fucking hate GameMaker Studio, dude. When I press D, it will spawn a mana gem in 1 second. Okay? If I press... fuck. I can't stand it. Okay, if I press E, it'll turn the alarm off. If I press L, it'll spawn a mana gem in 5 seconds. And if I... oh, fuck. Okay. If I press F, it'll spawn the mana gem instantly. Now, it spawns it instantly, so I'm going to set it to 0, right? But this won't work. Okay, so we got E. I think it was E. Okay, D. Short. Okay, D. So here I am. I press D. Spawns it in 1 second. Boom, mana gem. I press F. It's supposed to spawn it instantaneously. But I hit the breakpoint. I do hit this breakpoint for the instance. Okay. Now I'll run it and debug it. And this is what I was saying was wrong, but I think it's just Pirate Software wrong. Okay, so it does hit this. It does hit this. Can I step into... Step out of function, step over function, step into function. And it returns it. I fucked up. Okay, well, it returns now. It stopped at the breakpoint. No, it goes into the function. And then it's like once it triggers, it's supposed to play this. It's supposed to spawn it. 1 equals 1 frame, I think. Yes. Yes. But 0, so 60 would be 1 second. Yes. But 0 is supposed to spawn on the next frame. 0 is supposed to spawn on next frame. I wish I could find like a better example. Hold on. Going to trusty chat GPT, bro. All right. So, let's see. So in GameMaker Studio, does not stop the alarm. It actually causes the alarm to trigger on the very next step. Sumo wrestlers, hey, stop looking at my shit. Fuck off. Get out of here. You little gremlins. Alright? You don't need to know. Alright. Okay, so sumo wrestlers, I was watching, there's a show, Sanctuary, on Netflix. I've been like into the sumo shit. All right, I'm thinking about trying out. I'm fat enough. All right, so the alarm variable is a countdown timer in steps/frames. When it reaches 0, the alarm event is triggered. Setting alarm equals 0. Wild search, bro. What? Yo, shut up. All right. Stop. No, you're not allowed to know now. Fuck off. All right. So when the alarm reaches 0, the alarm event is triggered. So this actually triggers the alarm. For some reason, it's not doing it on the next frame, though. So I think ChatGPT is wrong here. It's not wrong about setting it to -1 and disabling the alarm and preventing it from triggering. It does do that. So, let me see the manual. Let me see what it says about, like, alarm numbers. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Aspiring sumo confirmed. I am almost there, guys. I am almost there. I like coroutines way better than whatever this shite is. I like coroutines too. Start enumerator, coroutine, yeah. Could you put a 0.1 to spawn on next frame? I don't think you can. I think it has to be an integer, but we can try it. We can try it. Fuck it. Script. I'm pretty sure it has to be an integer. Yeah, it's got to be an int. It won't hit it. But when we set it to 1, it seems like it's doing it the next frame, but it's not really. See, now we're like spawning them all over the place. We go collect them. Yay! Mana gems. Mana gems. Oh, buddy. Does GML even handle floats? I think, yes. Yes, it does, I think. I don't remember. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. The last time I touched it was fucking 2019. I wouldn't trust it to write anything complex, though. Yeah. The alarms are red herring anyways. What's truly fucked is how he's managing the game's state with hundreds of magic numbers. That's true. Look at my mana. What am I supposed to do for you? Alright, I mean, was that all I had for the... So you can change the alarm's name. We've seen that. You can change the alarm's name. So if you need a more descriptive alarm, instead of saying just alarm 0, right? Instead of just saying alarm 0, you can change the name. You can do all that shit. The index, we would have to change the index. We could change that. You could set the time. So like 1 second. Oh, that's 5 seconds. Sorry. I was in there changing shit. So 1 second would just be 60. Trigger alarm would be 0. Disable alarm -1. Right? And then you just pass those values in. I'm not even doing it. I can do it here. I'm not even doing it here. Fuck. But yeah. Let's go back in. Let's see what he has to say. So more constructively, and as a non-programmer, what's a good use of magic numbers in practice? I don't think you would use them. You're not supposed to anyways. I swear I feel like most game engines have weird, quirky problems like these. I don't like the way you navigate GameMaker Studio. I never did. Throwaway code, yeah. Like debug. Like debugging shit, maybe. Like a debug message. Firesicle, what's up, man? Good to see you. It depends on your needs, really. In practice, you're not going to make a constant every single time. You have to make an if statement for some random special case in your software logic. So, like for random numbers, maybe I would. Again, like guys, I am not a savant. I am not a good coder. I am mediocre at best. I do bad practices all the time. I do bad practices all the time. Yeah, I tried getting Coding Jesus to look at my stuff. He didn't respond to me. I tried getting him in a DM, and then I tagged him in Quinthio's Discord because I knew he was in there, but I didn't get a response. I was gonna see if he would like rip apart my code because I think it'd be fun. It'd be a good learning experience, right? It'd be cool to do. That's a cool thing to do, right? To have someone like who's better than you to check out your code, right? And it's like my worst code ever. What I'm working on is a turn-based RPG, and I know the fix for it. I'm dragging my feet on fucking fixing it. I'm doing like a faux first in first out for the turns, and I found a better way using Unity's queue system. So I'm not sure if he'd be savvy on Unity's queue system. But that's what I have to refactor all of that code, and it's a giant fucking. This is what we're talking about. Technical debt. That word came up earlier. That's my technical debt for this project. Is the turn-based system works, but it is. I just don't like it. It could cause problems down the road, and I don't like it personally. I feel like it could be better. We can do a code review. Hell yeah. Need help? Shit. Hey, we could do that. If you guys want to run that Friday, we could do that. I want to get through these videos, and then I was going to do some Quake, if anyone wanted to play Quake. We're going to play Quake 2 or Quake Champions. I do that towards the end of stream, so. But yeah, I would love to. If you guys... We could do that Friday, and we could hop in, and I'll bring up my shitty code, and y'all can all trash on me. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. You can get a couple lobbies, probably. Lobbies have been pretty. I think we've had about 5-6 people in lobbies. We can get up to 16. So.
Setting
but anyways,
the alarm to off.
All right, I'm gonna rewind this.
They're trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is. All too common these days. Think you saw that one? Very strange. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. You could still use alarms by for loop instead of manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines. Those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
You could set the... Okay,
you would know that.
He was saying right there. That was the question.
Alarms by for loop. You saw that one? Very strange. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. You could still use alarms by for loop instead of manually setting all to 0 with 8.
You can end the alarms with the for loop. He didn't read that out. You can end the alarms with the for loop instead of setting them individually to 0. And then he just that's what the alarms are for. If you set them to 0, you turn them off. That's literally that's what he said!
8 lines. Those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off. You would know that if you've ever used GameMaker. And that wasn't all of the alarms, it was some of them. So, there'd be no reason to set that to a for loop.
You can still set it to a for loop, you fuckwit.
Can't see your comment. Did he delete it? That'd be even funnier.
Did he delete my comment? Oh my god. Bro, he is a
He
wanker.
deleted the comment? That would be even funnier. No, it's still there. Yeah, I wrote this underneath this video. I said, it's clear you've never used GameMaker before based on your comments. Here's a quick rundown for you. Sprite Spark is not a magic number. It's a direct reference to an asset file called Sprite Spark. This is how...
The asset file is the PNG is using, or the fucking the pixel art. That okay. Sprite Spark is not a magic number. It's set to a direct reference to an asset file called Sprite Spark. That is how GameMaker allows you to link sprites and other assets. That's just a basic fucking reference. When you want to use a sprite, sound, or other object, you call it by name. Yeah, he doesn't even mention Sprite Spark. I watched a little bit of Quinthio's video. I did pre-watch it a little bit. I'm going to get into it. All the numbers for his method params are magic, though. Pure deflection tactics. Okay. When you want to use sprite, sound, or other objects, you call it by name. The functions you called out on part type create are built-ins that allow you to define a particle. The functions below this directly reference different aspects of this particle. These cannot be modified, but they can be wrapped, but this wouldn't be efficient. These cannot be modified, but they can be wrapped, but this wouldn't be efficient. Okay, so he's talking about wrapping it, just like how I did, I believe he's talking about wrapping it like I did the alarms, how I changed the alarms name. James McElver, you get that? Pirate knows enough about coding to gaslight about his shitty code, it seems. Once again, that wasn't what CJ was talking about. CJ was talking about the content inside the functions, yeah. Everyone loves to dunk on pompous people. Efficient as in he didn't want to put in the effort to wrap it. True. Let's see what ChatGPT says about that. No, fuck that. You guys, y'all were teasing me in my searches. I'm not bringing up ChatGPT ever again. Find me a new one. Copilot. All right. Minfer cracked the code, did he? Thank you, baby. Final Ask ChatGPT. All right, thanks. Yes, for errors for a start. Yeah, see if it's more efficient. Private window. All right. Let's see. What was the? Okay, we'll just do this. I refused a free game on Steam?
No, you just received a game on Steam.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
What game?
Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R.
I think I had... Oh, who sent me Guilty Gear, bro?
Mohammed Hussein Inoki.
Oh, that's the dude from the Gay and Racist show. Fed. Guys, look up on YouTube the Gay and Racist show. Those guys are fucking funny. They're new, but I'm telling you, like, they have really good chemistry. They're really funny. They covered some of the pirate software stuff, so you might be interested in that. They also do like Bossman Jack and stuff. The Gay and Racist show. Go give them a sub. They're really good. I'll bring them up on stream and share it. Well, at least the link. Is wrapping built-in functions? Less efficient. Yes, wrapping built-in functions is generally less efficient than calling them directly, but the difference is usually negligible unless you're calling the function millions of times in performance-critical code. Okay, so there you go. Got the same answer, that's fine. that it's fine? Yeah. It's negligible. It doesn't matter. So you can. It's just extra fucking doots on your keyboard, bro. This is really unrelated, but you can see how he's liking his own comment and spending excessive amounts of time disliking everything else. Bro, I like everyone's comment, man. I go through on my fucking YouTube. I love getting comments on YouTube. I heart and like everything. I'm sorry. But I'm new to this shit. This is wacky for me. Okay. Let's see. These cannot be modified as they can be wrapped, but this wouldn't be efficient. Doesn't matter. It's negligible. Having them exposed as normal allows you to modify existing particles dynamically. Changing this just creates layers of obfuscation without improving usability or performance. The usability is readability. One would say the two are linked, or performance. Your performance as a dev, maybe not as the computer reads it, but as you yourself reads it, right? So having a function that is very descriptive or has a descriptive name of what the fuck you're changing is better than not having it at all. When you wrap them, they're still dynamic. Yeah. I really doubt Pirate cares about efficiency. Also, what part of his game would require about how fast the game goes. It's Undertale clone, not RTS Thousand Soldiers. Agree. I mean, if he wanted to be efficient, he wouldn't have a fucking gigantic array of dialogue. That is insane. That is absolute clown shoe behavior. Fucking hate it. I hate his catchphrase. All right. Alarms are internal to individual objects and only reference the same object they are inside of. When you see alarm 0, it's hitting the alarm 0 on the left side of the object screen there. We cannot rename these as they are tied to the object they are placed in. You can wrap them. I proved that you can rename them. You can't rename them. You can't rename the events. Setting an alarm to 0 causes that alarm to stop. False. Think of this as timing or a delay function. Data types are not defined in GameMaker. You cannot define a Boolean. You can use 0, 1, or true or false at will. None of this matters in this language. The array for the save file is to create a workable structure for reverse engineers trying to solve the ARG behind the game. The array for the save file is to create a workable structure for reverse engineers trying to solve the ARG behind the game. It also saves this out in the exact same order in the save file. You can read about the ARG here. Your arguments are in bad faith and incorrect. Hope this helps. Readability always matters. True. Again, I am being a hypocrite and saying true because I have very bad practices as well, guys. I have very bad practices as well. If you wanted to be safe, you'd use Rust. The closer you can code to machine code, the faster your program will be. Yes. He did his sins for you. Pirate has been developing the same shitty game for almost a decade. Don't care what he has to say. He doesn't have the creds he so claims. I too have bad practices. It's all about learning, guys. I am willing to say that I suck at coding. But I'm open to learning. Anytime I got a chance, I fucking try my best anyways. Before the ADHD kicks in. Yeah, imagine making your own code horrible for ARG. That is pretty crazy. Why not just finish the fucking game first and then do the ARG later? And maybe in a different way.
How GameMaker allows you to link sprites and other assets. When you want to use a sprite, sound, or other object, you call it by name. The functions you called out are part type create are built in that allow you to define a particle. The functions below this.
People call him the Bob Ross of coding. Bro, he's the Steven Seagal of game dev. He's the Steven Seagal of game dev.
directly reference different aspects of this particle effect. These cannot be modified, but they can be wrapped, but this wouldn't be efficient. Having them exposed as normal allows you to modify existing particles dynamically, meaning in runtime, while the effect is running.
He called himself that, I think. Pirate Seagull. Bruh. New name for Chud Logic's Gockbound. His short tour shitty movies.
Changing this just creates layers of obfuscation without improving usability or performance. Alarms are internal to individual objects and only reference that same object that they're inside of. When you see alarm 0, it's hitting the alarm 0 on the left side of the object there. We cannot rename these as they are tied. I try to put tied to the object they are placed in. Cool typo.
You fucked up,
Setting
loser.
an alarm
You
0
can't
causes
spell
that alarm
shit.
to stop. Think of this
You can't spell? What are you, fucking dumb?
as a timing or delay function. Data types are not defined in GameMaker. You cannot define a Boolean. You can use 0, 1, or true, false at will. It doesn't do anything. None of this matters in this language. The array of the save file is to create a workable structure for reverse engineers trying to solve the ARG behind the game. It also saves this out in the exact same order in the save file. You can read about the ARG here. It's just a bunch of disingenuous arguments put up in bad faith trying to make me look like a bad programmer. And in reality, this guy has never used the engine that I'm working in, never used the language that I'm working with, and all of his points are moot as a result.
Okay. We already been through this. You don't need to know the language because it's transferable. You can get, if you worked in C#, you know, you can look at some code and get a pretty good idea of what's going on, right? You can get a pretty good look and kind of understand what's going on if you're savvy, you know. But it takes years to do that. It's practice, man. It's practice. He didn't even say his codes are wrong. It was just inefficient, lousy, and novice at best. But Ultra Ego came in clutch, bro.
You know, basic internet bullshit.
GameMaker's built on C++, is it?
Cutting Jesus released a 15-minute video reviewing you. Do you see it by any chance? Yeah, and I wrote a gigantic comment on it. We actually just went over it.
I wrote a comment on it.
Cutting Jesus obviously has never worked in GameMaker Studio or with GameMaker language, and he made a bunch of wild assumptions about the language and things that should be changed or shouldn't be changed. And it's very clear he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I put a large comment underneath this, but it got buried in the myriad of other comments that you can see here. So if you want to screenshot that, you can go and read it yourself.
16 up dudes plus his own.
To be honest with you. But yeah, he's obviously never worked in this language. Ever.
It doesn't matter!
Even down to like weird stuff, like why are alarms named this way with magic numbers? They're not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't take long to fucking like look at your fucking code and be like, oh damn, that's kind of bad, or that's a lot, right? Logic is logic. True. You could and the in-house functions is a manual read away or a fucking hover like I did. You just hover over it and it tells you what the fuck it does, okay? Like it's not hard to see what gets passed into a function and what the function does. The only thing I don't think you can do, like right click and like go to the definition of a function in GameMaker Studio. I don't know if you can do that and like see what the function's actually doing.
They cannot be changed. The engine won't allow you to. Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, would it really be bad if you literally said this is my second game? It wouldn't, dude. But instead of leading with that and saying, "Be like, yeah, bro, it's just my second game," you know, I'm just kind of cutting into this. You know, I was thinking, I was doing what I thought worked at the time, but as I went on, I learned some new stuff, and you know, I realized like going back and changing a lot of this would be really hard to do, and it'd be really time consuming. So I think I have to continue doing what I've been doing, unfortunately, even though it's bad practice and bad coding. You know, it's just something I have to continue on with to finish the project the best way I can. Because if I were to go back and change everything, it would just be a shit show. Right? It's okay to be wrong, dude. It's okay to have, like you said, humility. It's okay. It's okay. All right? You don't have to be right about everything all the fucking time. Tech debt. Yes. Tech debt. If it compiles and runs, it doesn't matter. Readability is subjective. Yeah, dude, work in a fucking team and see how that goes. Work in a team, bro. You're crazy. My wife is right about everything all the time, isn't yours? True. Ducks. Yeah, what if you had to go back and write a bug or figure? Yeah, like let's say something broke in your code. Like, let's say you wrote something, it's not readable. A few months down the line, hey, this isn't working anymore. Or we need to change something in it. Can you go in and fix that? Because you wrote it, you should know. I'm looking at your code. I don't understand it. Can you check this out? By the way, we need this by Friday. Bro, I did that today. The moment you bring up some old code you haven't looked at in a long time in a largest project, you understand. Yeah, I had to do that today. I was like, fuck, how did I do this? How did I work this? Because, again, I have bad practices as well. Bro, he's one guy in all of you. Stop.
You said GML. It's called GameMaker language. It is built in for GameMaker. GameMaker does not allow you to use other languages. So as a result of this, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's bitching about shit that is not changeable inside of GameMaker. Yeah.
It's just, yeah. There's just extra steps you have to do to make it, like,
but, you know,
better.
I would expect a little bit better from someone named Coding Jesus.
Oh, my God.
But I've got the ego, right? Very cool. Is he a web dev or something? I have no idea, but he clearly doesn't know this language. You can review languages. Many concepts are transferable. Concepts can be transferable, but specifics are not, and that's the problem. This person called out a bunch of specifics as they would in another language that are not correct in this language. So no, you cannot code review correctly in language you don't know. To be fair, you haven't seen the array, but it was the one solution you thought of off the top of your head?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to slap you. How do you fix something you haven't seen before? Stop it.
He's getting so mad, dude. He's shaking.
Literally part of the problem. God damn, dude. That's even funnier. You can see the comments. Some people can't see it. Some people can see it.
Actual clown.
It's not going to be up at the top. You're going to have to search for it because it only has 16 likes. And I can't give you a direct link to it, so bleh.
Yeah.
You could shadow ban people? Yeah. When you ban somebody on YouTube, it does like weird sneaky bullshit.
Oh, I see what you're doing, dude. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Isn't he supposed to be making games? Yeah, 15 hours into stream, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna go in and find an extra fucking 5 hours to work on my game, or an extra 2 hours to work on my game. Then I'm gonna sleep for 3 hours, wake up, do it all over again. Yeah, he's definitely quitting the conversation. It's true. He'll switch up the conversation once it's not like once he has to dive deeper into it. Which I understand, man. Like he's been under so much crap. You know, I can get it. I can get why, right? But again, if he were to just be like, I fucked up. It's easy. It's the easiest out. I fucked up, dude.
From the channel, which we don't really know what that does.
Mining spice
So
equals making games.
Sort by newest, and it's around 5 hours ago. Okay. Either way, video's dumb. Dude probably should have reached out instead of talking shit.
He should have reached out. Why? What am I supposed to do for you if you reach out? What am I supposed to do for you? That's what he would have gotten back. Hey man, I want to make a... He did try to reach out, really? He did? Then he got banned. What? His mods banned him. His mods banned him. What the fuck? He tried to reach out and stream, starting with, I'm making a video about you. Oh, bro, you gotta have some more tact than that. You He's not allowed an opinion when reaching out without reaching out. Yeah. True. I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
Or, I don't know, read the public docs for GameMaker. Wild, dude. Was it the CJ dude? Yeah. Like I said, you're going to see a whole lot of people on YouTube trying to pick at me like piranhas to get their 15 minutes of fame.
Hey,
Yep.
is it okay?
You make a link to it? You have to click on the little 6 hours edited. Aha! So that doesn't seem to do it? Oh, do I have to right-click on this and then copy link address? And then do that? Is that what does this? Ah, it does highlighted comment. There we go. Boop. There's my comment on it.
Is he still going on about this fucking comment, dude? Like, no one gives
Enjoy.
a shit, bro.
And I also have a whole argument with a whole bunch of people in the replies in there so they can see what's going on with it. I talked them through the entire thing of why I did that all in an array, because that is not normal practice to do that, and it's specifically so that you guys can reverse engineer the game and solve the ARG. Sometimes doing bad practice has meaning, which is why I did it in that case, so that you guys could do those ARG components. And I've been saying that for years. The ARG solving community around the game knows this.
Give me the
That's why
clips.
it's done.
I want
So
the
it's
clips
not
of
a
you
gotcha,
saying it for
it's just
years.
stupid.
Put your chapstick on.
Yep. So
You just stupid. Puts on lipstick.
anyway,
I'm
enjoy.
gonna kiss myself.
When in the world do you sleep? I haven't slept since 9 a.m. yesterday. I've been working on Heartbound all day.
Need to not just say that, dude. He didn't say that. I wrote the spaghetti code for you. What?
When in the world do you sleep? I haven't slept since 9 a.m. yesterday. I've been working on Heartbound all day.
Bro, that's got I need that as a clip. That's the new fucking that's the new Dono clip or something. I don't know, man. That's going on the new text to speech. I gotta set up text to speech. That's the new one. Holy shit, bro. It takes them all day to look up 20 magic numbers. Yo, bro, you're probably right. It's gonna suck for him when this game comes out and he still hasn't learned anything for the next one. Bro, he already made his bag off of it, man. I don't think it's coming out. Even if it does come out, I think he's siphoned everything he's gonna get from it. And he doesn't need to finish it because he got all the money that he needed. Especially now that he's like, pulling in fucking 5,000 viewers of, every time he streams. Dude makes bank. Dude's making fucking bank. There'll always be dumb people. Yeah. Alright, Pirates offer a response to my coding review. Okay, I did watch a little bit of this, so I'll rewind it. Oh, wait, no. Where was it? Pirates response. Alright, we'll skip this. Bad code. Bad code is okay if you're a solo dev. We'll do this.
On the fact that my mouse had some Now, Pirate himself also responded, and he got a bit hung up on the fact that my mouse had some variable highlighted.
It's his mouse. He highlighted it, didn't he?
It's actually quite funny because I refer to every variable other than the one that he referred to in his reply. But skipping over that, he makes the claim that you can't define a Boolean in GameMaker because GameMaker itself doesn't have a native Boolean type in its scripting language. In other words, it interprets reals as Booleans. Now, to reconcile the fact that he used a Boolean in his code with what he said, I decided to do what any developer would do, and that is I consulted the documentation. So if you go to data types in GameMaker, oh, look at that. You are also provided, if you go to data types in GameMaker, oh, look at that.
Yep.
You are also provided with constants, true and false, which can always be used in your code to prevent any issues, should the native Boolean type be defined later. So GML defines constants true as 1 and false as 0, and The documentation itself even recommends that you use true and false instead of reals.
Right here,
in
Boolean.
case that association between a Boolean and a real ever gets changed to a Boolean and some other native definition of a Boolean. So in other words, if they ever replace the aliasing of bools for reals with bools for actual bools, they recommend that you use true and false. But we know he's not going to concede on this point or admit the fact that he's
I shouldn't need to be correcting someone who has spent the past 8 years using GML, as you think they'd know this, or at least have consulted the documentation.
record. So let's move on to the next claim. Another comment that I've seen is that you've never worked with GameMaker, so you must not know what you're talking about. Another equally absurd variant of this is what he's writing is not C++, or
Doesn't
anybody
matter.
who has worked with technology or more than one programming language understands that languages are just toolkits. Each toolkit is uniquely positioned to solve a given problem. Now, while there might be unique features in every toolkit, essentially there's a lot of overlap. Okay? An integer in one language is going to be very similar to an integer in another. Every language is going to have for loops, etc., etc. So while the actual toolkit might be different, the same principles, patterns, and design decisions should apply in large part to any problem that you're trying to solve. The only difference is the tools that you use to solve that problem are going to be a little different. What does that look like in practice? Take that code snippet alarm 0 equals 0, alarm 1 equals 0, alarm 2 equals 0. You don't need to copy and paste that code every
You
single
don't.
time.
For loop.
I'd expect an intern or somebody learning code.
His Pirate Software game a solo project. He's doing the coding and doing all the placements and shit and the game design. But he's got an artist and he has fucking someone doing the music. Yeah, sound guy, composer. There you go, composer. Thank you. Are you the guy with the roach wizard in your game? You're a legend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so I'll shill a little bit, guys. Go check out Idle Streaming Bonanza. All right, it is on Steam now. All right, Idle Streaming Bonanza. Go check it out. I'll play the trailer. I'm gonna take a little smoke break and pee break. Okay. I have some other games too. Check it out. I got other games. Apostle 3D is shit. That was the first game I made on Steam. You don't have to look at that one. But look, dude, Chud Logic's Gockbound. Right? Another parody game. Look at that. Another parody game? What? All right, that's Chud Logic's Gockbound. I'm sorry, I'm shilling a little bit, guys. All right, they're my games. I want them. I want them to be seen. All right. Forgive me if I am vain. Forgive me if I am vain. All right, we'll watch Idle Streaming Bonanza. I'll bring it. Hold on, let me bring up Samurai Stratagem. I'm super excited about Samurai Stratagem. This is not a parody, but I'm super excited for this one. Oh shit! Sorry. Oh, I didn't do it. Motherfucker. Oh, it broke. Oh, there we go. We found the sumo. Fuck! Oh, I forgot. Damn it. All right. Samurai Stratagem. Arcadey, like super arcadey, right? And then here's the trailer for Idle Streaming Bonanza. Who's that handsome fella? I just need one more sub.
Hey, you!
Who was that?
Are you tired of streaming to 0 viewers? Are you sick of your mom being your only fan?
I mean, she's supportive.
Well, get
Join the
ready
Discord,
to
join the
go
Discord.
viral with Idle Streaming Bonanza!
Whoa!
Grind for followers, sell out to sponsorships, and engage in unnecessary internet drama for maximum exposure.
Unnecessary drama?
Oh yeah, baby, it's time to argue with those strangers online for content.
Welcome to the Finding Out timeline, bud.
A new sub! Whoa!
That's right. And for just 10,000 more subs, you can finally afford to eat something that isn't instant noodles.
Say no more. I'm in.
Don't wait! Become the ultimate streaming icon in Idle Streaming Bonanza.
Hey, Mom! I'm gonna be famous!
Available now on Steam. Idle Streaming Bonanza. Because real jobs are for losers. Warning, overconsumption of Idle Stream Bonanza may lead to dented skull, erratic behavior, the urge to choke a chipmunk, roaching out on stream. Keep away from kids and whiny little pricks with no self-awareness.
Alright. Done shilling. Guys, if you, okay, this is totally hosed. Okay, there we go. If you guys are interested in doing a game dev or a game jam, you can join. You can go to itch.io and check out Roachware Jam. This is our third one we did. Starts in 4 days. I don't care what you use. You get 2 weeks. You can use Unity, Godot, Scratch, Unreal, RPG Maker. I don't give a shit. You can join it. You can have teams. First place gets $100, 100 smackaroos, 100 shekels. AI, I don't give a shit, dude. Do what you want. I don't care. So, guys, join Roachware Jam. You can I'll post it in chat. Boom. There should be a link to my Discord below. There should be a link to the Discord below, and you can join that and talk to some other devs if you want. Can you team? Yes, you can team. Yep, you can team. If you're a beginner, newcomer, I don't care. Just try to make something. It might be fun. You might learn something. You might like it. Roachware Jam.
Code in Khan Academy to copy and paste. You can simply replace that all with a for loop. So what does it say about somebody that they haven't even considered to use a for loop for something as simple as this? If there's something that I regret, it's not being able to provide more substantive feedback. If you look at plenty of my other videos where I do a code review, I go into line by line the GitHub repository and break it down for my viewers, both saying what went well and what didn't go well and how can it be improved. But Thor didn't give me, or really anybody, the chance to do that with his code because all he does is share snippets and screenshots. You also shouldn't be representing an entire entity made up of health, position, maybe whether they're dead or alive, their ID, their inventory, as a number or an index into some array.
That's the code we're discussing.
That's
Ron.
not how you present character models or
Oh, yeah,
entities
I played
in
the
game
game.
design.
I
And I
think
don't
it
even need
does.
to be a game developer to understand that. I just watch 1 or 2 videos of the Cherno, and I already know that's the case. So hopefully you guys found this video informative or interesting. I'm going to now move on to other news. So unless anything new comes out that I think I can bring my unique
this code
perspective
runs
to,
too, yeah.
I'm going to put Pirate Software behind me and just keep moving forward. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Cheers.
All right. So, in conclusion, the clickbait title worked. All you guys are here in your sucker. No, I'm just kidding. Coding Jesus is correct. Pirate Software's code sucks. That doesn't mean his bad code doesn't mean that he's a bad person. His personality would say otherwise, though. I'd say if you just practice, be honest, you know what I mean? Like, all he has to do is be honest, right? All he has to do is be honest with his skills. You know, you don't have to be a top shit dog in everything that you do, and there's always somebody better. All right? He found somebody better, or somebody better found him. Right? Somebody better found him, and he couldn't handle it. So he's coping, all right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I just want to see a finished game. Like, I feel like just the whole Kickstarter, like getting into Kickstarter and it's a fucking scam. It's no different than what crypto companies do when they rug pull. He essentially used a game to rug pull supporters, right? That's what it is. He fucking rug pulled them. All right. This is 33 minutes. Let's see, 12:32. I'll watch some of this at 1. I'm gonna start up a lobby. Oh fuck, dude! I still have the room code up from last time. If you guys want to play Quake, all right, I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna see how many people would actually play Quake. Hold on, how do I do a poll? Start a poll. I'm going to say Quake 2, because that's what I have downloaded right now, or Quake Champions. So I'm giving you guys the option now. If you want to play. You don't have to, but it's pretty fun. Let me get an idea of what to play, if you guys do play. All right.
This is disingenuous at best and an obfuscation tactic at worst, because as you can see here, there's a lot of numbers here. It's very obvious when I'm talking about a magic number. I'm talking about things like 1, 0.
I mean, he could have literally hired more programmers once he hit big. He has a game dev company. I agree, man, because that's what you do, especially if you run a Kickstarter, raise $20,000. You know, the $20,000 is for you to hire people and get the fucking game done. I mentioned this in the I did a game dev review or a game design review on Heartbound. That's the whole point for a Kickstarter. You raise the funds, finish the project. It's 8 fucking years, bro. Who pre-orders an Undertale clone? People who like Undertale and want more of that content. So Pirate Software, kind of rode the coattails of Toby Fox and Matt Pat. Let's not forget that, right? Because he got all butthurt. It's literally the same. Like, people bitch at me. I get comments all the time like, oh, you're riding Pirate Software. You're a nobody and all that shit. I literally did the same thing that he did. Like, except mine was like kind of warranted, right? I feel like I earned the spite. I'm not, I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I feel like, because he was like, he posted the game. Matt Pat did a review on it. And then he didn't link the game, and he compared it to Undertale, and he got super pissed off about that, and like made a big deal out of a fucking nothing burger. You should be happy, like, someone with a big presence like that covered your game. That's a crazy exposure. Content is content, yeah. I don't know. He did the same shit. That's all I'm saying.
15, 270, 360. I'm not talking about what my mouse just happens to be highlighting, which is SPR Spark. Yeah, and that's actually not my cursor, that's his. I just realized, because that's his video that I'm looking at. I can't highlight his code in his video. So he has his cursor on Spark, and I'm talking about all the numbers around that, but he's
You are wrong, you should have more spite.
It doesn't make sense.
I try to do the benefit of the doubt, but Pirate Software is like a special case, man. I don't know. He's a special case.
I don't know why he decided to do that. He has this repeating theme where somebody gives him a question, and then he pivots to something that somebody didn't even ask or address to try to get out of that question.
Now recently, like just yesterday, this guy right here, Coding Jesus, he had put out a video talking about Pirate Software's code and that he had reviewed it and was not super stoked about it. Now I watched that video on stream yesterday and had the privilege to actually chat with Coding Jesus, and then he was also making a second video which he had just put out a couple hours ago now as well. Now in tandem with this this happening, Livestream put out a video showcasing clips of Pirate Software responding to Code Jesus dissecting Heartbound's code. And it's 7 minutes and 30 seconds of clips. Now, some of this stuff was technical talk. Other things were actual points that I myself could talk about. So I figured if I'm going to cover these clips, I think the best way to do that would be to do it with Code Jesus. So I hopped in a call with him. We had both watched the clip prior, and we went over and addressed the most important points through those clips. Now, just a quick 10 seconds before we jump into this video, I highly recommend that you check out Coding Jesus. What we cover in this is just those clips, but these two videos that he's put out have gone into full detail and really go into explaining his points of view. And for those of you who are really into coding and understand it, he does excellent stuff. And so in this, I'm just trying to, make sure that I can also give to you guys a summary that's a bit more digestible for those who don't. With all that being said, I hope you enjoy the video.
Jesus can help you? You mean the guy who's never used GameMaker Studio, doesn't know GameMaker language, and talked a lot of shit but was wrong?
What's kind of embarrassing for him is I have around 5 minutes of experience worth of GameMaker, and I was still able to correct him on the data types within the game in my recent response video by simply referencing the documentation. So that's an iconic statement from him right off the bat. All right, we can continue.
Okay.
Should look at my comment underneath this video. Imagine screaming and shitting about alarms in GameMaker saying, why aren't these renamed, when you literally can't rename them. Wild behavior. It's just another, YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is. All too common these days.
Have you ever talked about Pirate before this? What got you interested in covering this?
Yeah, what got me interested in covering it is somebody who talks a big game and then I want to investigate, is what they've produced coherent with who they portray themselves as, right? So when he says, I'm a grifter, I think I've actually been doing this for longer than he has. I build a consistent audience producing content that plays towards the exact same theme, which is getting better at development. I never came onto YouTube claiming I'm the best. It's actually a learning journey for me as well, but I'm not understanding what I'm grifting on.
Very humble.
I'm producing content that's consistent with my channel. I'm not changing my message to cater towards somebody else.
Have you covered other people in quote unquote coding drama?
Lazy cat. I'm confused. So who's right? Coding Jesus. Coding Jesus is right.
In the past?
I haven't covered coding drama. I've done code reviews of other people in my Discord community, other individuals as well, my own code. I've done coding live streams. So when I saw somebody that had a dev live stream that talked about video game development, I wanted to check it out. And little did I know it would be a goldmine because it would expose him for his inability
There's a gold mine.
remain congruent. With
Embrace
who
the
he portrays he
drama.
is.
Manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines.
You got
Those
him
are set to 0
schmeckles,
because it was
boy.
ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
So pause there. So his chatter actually corrects him by identifying
Oh,
Those
hold
were
on a
set to 0
second.
because it
There's something he said
you
here.
literally can't read.
the game in my recent response video by simply referencing the document.
Should look at my comment underneath this video. Can't rename them. Wild behavior. Terms in GameMaker saying, why aren't these renamed, when you underneath this video. Imagine screaming and shitting about alarms in GameMaker saying, why aren't these renamed, when you literally can't rename them.
Did he, content creators cannibalize each other? I love it. Did he say, I don't remember, was he talking about, renaming the alarms? Did he say renaming the alarms? I have a short fucking attention span, guys. I don't remember if he said renaming the alarms because he didn't address it in this. I don't remember him. Why can't you rename them? You can rename them. You have to wrap it. You can't directly rename it because it's a built-in function. It's a built-in timer or a frame counter, I guess. But yeah, you can't rename the alarms, but you can wrap it. I did it here in this project. That's how you wrap it.
Wild behavior. It's just another, YouTube grifter trying to...
with my in a alarm and then for loop. But little did I know it would be a gold mine because it would expose him for his inability to remain congruent with who he portrays he is.
Manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines. Those
He
are
should
set to
hire
0 because it
you.
was
He wouldn't like me, dude. He already don't like me. Oh my god. Wrap it up,
ending the
boys.
alarms.
Yeah.
By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
So pause there. So his chatter actually corrects him by identifying my critique. As a developer, you shouldn't be copying and pasting alarm, 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 alarm equals 0 and setting it to 0 for every object in the array. So what he's doing here is a classic example of deflection. He pretends the chatter asked, why do you set the alarms to 0, instead of the question, which was, why don't you iterate over them in a for loop? A for loop is a very basic coding construct. If you're iterating through a consecutive set of numbers, you definitely want to use that. It's the perfect scenario for a for loop. But he pretends that he didn't understand the question and then tries to answer something else.
I'm also trying to think of like how we can make it easier for people that are outside of coding to understand. So there's essentially a much more efficient way to do what he's doing that a rudimentary coder.
So, like this, right? Where would we set it? I think set it here in the F. Let's create some more alarms. I'll create 3 alarms. And I'll give them the same script that's in here. Okay. And let's make another game object here. Object. Object. I'll make 2 objects. I'll make a new sprite. I'll edit that sprite. And we'll just do like a blue, blue that, yeah. And then for this one, I'll make it red. Or a type of red. Right. And then here in the alarms, I think I had it copied, pasted. Boom. Yep. Here, instead of manage him, okay, we'll call it the object 3. We'll just call it object 3. And alarm 3, object 4. Okay. Then when I spawn, when I press E, we'll do a short one. Okay. I'll even get rid of this. I'll say for I equals 0. If I is it less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. And I'll say alarm, what is it, alarm I equals 1. And one is the first frame. Okay, 1 is the first frame. What is this? Instance variable I declared outside of create event. Declare with okay, all right. There. So this will iterate 3 times, and it'll set for each alarm. It'll set each alarm to 1, and it should trigger my function. No, sorry. It should trigger my alarms, each of my alarms, to spawn an object. Let's see. Boom. Right? That's iterating through each alarm every time I press the button. And you know it's iterating because it's spawning all of my objects. Each alarm has a different object that it's spawning. It'll iterate 4 times, you're missing 2. Did I fuck up? Did I fuck up? If I did, my apologies. 0, 1. I think it, yeah. 0, 1, 2. You fucking with me? No, I was right. Screw you, pal. Son bitch. But yeah, so there you go. You can for a loop through alarms. It is possible. All right. Wee. All right.
Would understand to do, and he completely reshapes the question to avoid having to admit that.
Yeah, another point as well is if he did not want to use a for loop, instead of associating an alarm with an index like alarm 0, alarm 1, alarm 2, because as somebody reviewing code...
That's because you have alarm 0, 1, and 3? What? Oh, did I fucking... Oh, bro, what? My bad. My bad. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I fucked up. My bad. It's all good being pedantic. No, man. Hey, thanks for calling me out. I fucked up. That's my fault, okay? I told you guys I'm not a good coder, all right? But I'll own that shit. I don't give a fuck. I am Garbaggio. All right. So when I pressed, let's do this. Boom. Save. Ah, yeah. All right, you're right. Hey, my apologies, man. Fuck me.
But it's not very evident what that actually refers to. He could have set
I
alarm
was wrong,
and then
no!
had a variable called left and set it to 0 and indexed into that alarm array or alarm data structure with the variable left. So I would know that this alarm, whatever it is, it's associated with the left boundary of his character or object. So there was 2 approaches he could have taken here. Both would have been better, but he chose to ignore both.
Can't see your comment. Did he delete it? That'd be even funnier. You deleted the comment? That would be even funnier.
Yeah, I didn't delete the comment.
it's still there.
That's... Yeah, there you go. It's still
Yeah,
there.
I wrote this underneath this video.
Him talking about
Does it really matter as long as it functions as intended? There are a bunch of ways to accomplish the same goal. It does matter. It does matter because if so, I fucked up and I put 1, 2, and 3, right? And then I set the iteration to 3, so it was skipping over. It was skipping over an alarm that was not set, right? So now that data is being used, or it's not. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it does matter. It does matter because what if I need to go back and use alarm 2? Let's say I do 1, 3, or let's say I do 1 or 0, 1, and 3. Alarm 0, 1, and 3. And let's say I need to use alarm 2. So I set alarm. Well, you know, let's say I add alarm 2. I'm like, oh shit, okay, let's just add alarm 2. Now I have that technical debt. I have to go back and rewrite that for loop because I fucked up the for loop, and I have to debug it. I'm like, oh shit, why isn't this working? Oh, well, damn, the for loop's wrong. I set it to 2. I set it to 3 instead of 2. So that's what he means by technical debt as well, right? It's all part of the arg, yeah.
about people like taking this way too
That's why it matters, Bananas. That's why it matters.
seriously, and
Because if I fuck up and I write code based on my fuck up, that's why you make it a variable for your loop size, yeah. If I fuck up and I write code that's a part of my fuck up, then when I go back and like try to fix my fuck up, I have to refactor all that. Also, even though you can do thing in multiple times, some ways are better in every way possible: efficiency, readability, and extensibility. No, I meant not using loops over using loops. It's cleaner. It's cleaner. It's You don't have to set it each time. Like, those are multiple calls, right? I would use a for. Like, I wouldn't want to copy paste that each time. I would use a for loop to iterate it, or a for each. I use for each a lot. So, like, let's say, so for the Chud Logic game that I'm working on, I have a bunch of, like, player data cards, right? And I have to, instead of setting, okay, so perfect example. I have a bunch of player data cards. All right, hold on, guys. All right, you ready? I'm going to break it out. Okay. I'm breaking it out. I have a bunch of son of a bitch. I have a bunch of player data cards. Okay? This is used for UI, for my battle manager, and for my pause menu. Each one of these has a name. Right? They got a name. They have an int for health. Right? And an int for magic. But it also carries other things. Okay? Now, each one of these data cards are stored into a list or an array. I use lists. So they're all stored into this array. And the array is active party members. Okay? If I need to change something in here, or read something in, okay? So let's say I need to set data to each one of these, right? Let's say I need to set data to each one of these. Let's say I'm pulling, like I have an effect for my party status, okay? I can say, hey, for each one of my party members, I want to apply poison because it's an area effect. Well, I loop through each one of these party members, and I can set a variable on them, or multiple. It could be variable text to let the player know that I am poisoned, right? I'm poisoned. And then I set a bool saying every turn you're going to take 5 damage until you fix your poison. Okay? Now, instead of doing this for each party member individually, like this, so it'd be like party member 0, and then I set the poison, and then I set the bool. Party member 1, I set the poison, and I set the bool, right? Instead of doing that, I'd rather just write a for each loop or a for loop and loop through those and then do it. It's faster, it's more efficient. I love that all devs use Paint. It makes me so happy. I don't use this. I'm using this ironically, okay? Bro, I got to make shorts of you on this, and make sure to check send to everyone unsubbed, yeah. Bully. Does that make sense, Banana? Instead of setting each one individually, I can just, I appreciate it. Instead of setting each one individually, I can loop through, and it's a lot. I believe it's faster. I do think it's faster. But it's also cleaner, too. And this can be used anywhere, right? If I need to loop through my active party, I can do this with positioning. I can do this with everyone's attack. If I got health items, I can even select them individually. Like, hey, for each party member, grab the party member that's named Chud, and grab his attack and use that attack, right? But you would also have this tied to you would have each no, that wouldn't make sense for this. I won't go into that. I was gonna say scriptable object. but that's only for the object assigning variables there. Learning more about code with private parts in one paint short than all the pirate shorts combined. Thanks. Wacom tablets are super cheap and useful when you want to digitally whiteboard stuff. Actually, I have a Huey on. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see it, but I have a Huey on. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. It's a draw-on tablet. I use it sometimes, like whenever I'm doing raster art and shit. I like Huey. I used Wacom for a long time, or Wacom. The first one I got was like, back in 2012. I got a Bamboo. But I like the, I was able to, my wife got me one with the screen, and it's really dope.
And having these gripes, and he is taking time to downvote the other comments, the only other two you can see on screen.
I think the more important thing here is that when he went to, oh, he definitely deleted my comment, that was a bit of projection. I think that's probably the first thing he thinks about when he thinks of a comment that he doesn't like. And then later he realized, oh, you didn't delete.
Yeah, I appreciate you showing me. I don't know jack about game dev. My background is in network engineering and Python. I mean, if you have a background on like Python, like, you know, it'd be the same shit. What would you use like for scriptable objects? Like inheriting. Like, I mean, anything. Like, I mean, we're not even talking about inheriting. We're talking about just a basic for loop. Like, why loop through instead of setting a variable instead of setting a variable in an array? Yeah, just loop through your, like, yeah, okay, so like looping through an array and just setting something on there. I don't know. Network engineering though, man, that's tough. All right, guys. I'm pretty much done with this shit. We've already watched this pretty much. I went over it. Coding Jesus was right. Okay, sorry for the clickbait. There were some. So I heard bits and pieces. All right, so we kind of went through it together. I heard bits and pieces, and I thought Pirate Software might have gotten one over on coding Jesus, but after reviewing what Thor said and then what actually coding Jesus said, I can confidently say that Pirate Software is pretty wrong. But hello, Hayden Swift, what's up? Guys, I am going into game mode, so check it out. I see the poll says Quake 2. We got 17 votes. Hell yeah, man. I hope you guys join. That'd be a full fucking lobby. Let's go. Quake 2. I am starting up Quake 2 now. I hope you guys join. I'll put the room key up in a second. Again, Roachware Jam 2025. It's our third one this year. Go check it out. You can use whatever you want. If you're interested in doing some game dev, join the Discord.